if you were, let's say you only sold stormwater products, what would be the low hanging fruit? What would you target?
For me, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, there's not an industry that's not affected by it. You can go from marinas to college campuses to welding shops to transportation agencies to DOTs. Everybody has to address this issue of stormwater and the pollutants that are going in it. So if that's all you had to sell, it's really not a bad thing because everybody's dealing with this problem one way or another. And it can be something as simple as the 7-Eleven, in your neighborhood that has cars coming and going all day that drop oil every time they turn the car off and go inside for a Slurpee. So something as simple as removing those hydrocarbons as the last line of defense before that runoff goes to the beautiful river in their area, the receiving waters. That's the beauty of it. Every industry is affected by this, and because of regulations and local and state and federal, there's a bigger push to make sure those pollutants are not reaching the receiving water. So you can really attack all facets of industry, construction, home building. It's everywhere from sediment. Now we're involved in microplastics. That's a worldwide push, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute. But something as crazy as capturing the little nurdles and the small plastic shavings and pellets, which are forever pollutants, and keeping those out of the water. That's a massive undertaking right now that it's gaining traction. So for me, I think the beauty is it's everywhere.
Okay, so there's two things, or there's a major thing that salespeople need to understand about stormwater. In my opinion, there's two separate targets, and actually three when there's this new application we're going to talk about here in a minute. But it's really going to be construction on one side and industrial on the other. And so from my experience, construction sites, so if you're selling to contractors or you want to sell to contractors, they have a huge issue and they have a ton of regulations about letting sediment, debris, literally mud, dirt, off their site. And so that's why you see all the silt fence, the straw wattle around the perimeter. They cannot let dirt come off their site. And so on the construction side, there's certain regions around the country that have huge or strict requirements for every single storm drain around that construction site needs to have a filter in it to catch the debris and sediment. And so you go to the places like the Northwest, and we sell millions of dollars a year of these little basic fabric filters to put in those storm drains around the construction sites. That could be sold to the general contractor. That could be sold to the excavation guys, a paving contractor. It could be sold to a specialty kind of SWIP install contractor. So really, that's the target there on the construction, and that is a huge market. I mean, every region has a different product that's most common that you could sell them, and we really have a solution as an equivalent or the main BMP for all those construction markets around the country. Then you go to the industrial side. In the industrial side, their big concern is typically, yes, debris and sediment. They call it total suspended solids, but also oils and also heavy metals, which is a really big hot spot for stormwater filters these days. And so we have a whole other line of products, maybe some higher end ones, higher end filters that they can put in place. I'll give you an example. Up in Seattle, Washington, there was a container yard, and they had 300 plus storm drains, and they were getting hammered by the local Department of Ecology about their heavy metal limit. And when I say heavy metal, just keep in mind, heavy metal are soluble microscopic particles of zinc, iron, copper, etc. It's not like metal shavings. This is if you've got a galvanized fence or galvanized roof, when it rains, it's leaching zinc. Or if you've got heavy duty equipment running around a parking lot, the brake dust and the tire dust has little microscopic particles of copper. Anyways, those are all highly regulated because it takes oxygen out of the water from fishes. So we have these filters that can put, to take that back out. That container yard in particular put 120 filters in place. That was a $150,000 order for the distributor up front. And now every 6 months, they spend another $40,000 to replace those heavy metal filter insert packs that are spent. So
Wow.
completely separate industries, both huge target markets. And then
Yeah.
also the industrial side, you've got the Operation Clean Sweep stuff that we're getting heavily into.